let's start. Faces everyone, assassinations.
Fuck! You fucking idiot! You fucking idiot!
We reach the bedchamber. Curtain blows in the rain.
Well, this experiment proves that electrodes stop.
Why? You feel good.
Insatiable.
I lopped the whole top of his head right off.
The Axeman of New Orleans.
I'll tell you my memory. You wouldn't understand it otherwise.
Hello, we are Spit&Vigor. We are a small theater company from New York City. We are based in New York City, but we have traveled all across the country. We're here today in our studio in Gowanus, our beautiful studio, and we're here to tell you about our Dirty Sexy History plays, which is what we're presenting at APAP this year. We have a wide roster of plays, but the ones that we specialize in are basically new works by contemporary playwrights that are about history or historical events. So basically bringing modern perspectives to history and looking at it through a new lens.
We were founded in 2015. We originated our company performing one of Sarah's first plays, Investments, which was critically acclaimed, award-winning. We've been producing in various venues across New York City ever since. We've also toured regionally in the continental United States, as far as California to Louisiana. We recently, during the COVID-19 pandemic, brought everything very close by live streaming one of Sarah's newest works, Lunar Eclipses, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Our plays are great for small intimate venues such as historic homes, churches, places like that, up into mid-sized theatres. You know, downtown theatres in New York is where we predominantly be performing. We've also performed uptown at a large church. So we're kind of in that range, intimate venues to maybe 300-seat theatres.
We have plenty of works in development right now, some with live music, some with a little bit of dancing. Right now, we're going to focus on our few plays that kind of run the gamut of what we're capable of doing. And so one of our plays that we're going to be talking about would be good for kind of historic venues, like Nick was saying, intimate venues, small theaters, something we could do non-proscenium, a single room, an apartment. And that's one of our smaller productions. It's called Mary's Little Monster. It's very intimate and it's very sexy and voyeuristic. We have our play Lunar Eclipses, which Adam mentioned, which we adapted for our modern times. It's a live stream production, but it could actually also be performed as a walkthrough production where everyone is socially isolated, so almost like a socially distanced walkthrough theater production. And then we have The Brutes, which we don't only do my plays. So The Brutes is by Casey Wimpy and Mary's Little Monsters by Thomas Key. So The Brutes is about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. It's a very poignant piece for our current era, and it would be appropriate for small to mid-range theaters. We actually have produced it in a historic home at the Players Club in New York City in Gramercy Park. And it was very successful there. It is a large cast. These pieces run from a 5-person cast to a very large cast of 12 people, for us, large. And so it can't be in places that are too small, but those are basically the range of pieces. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. Lunar Eclipse is about a woman who has been diagnosed with a mysterious illness that she wants to track through her family line. And so she's invited you to a seance in which she conjures members of her family, and you witness a very charged moment in each of their lives, and you kind of follow this genetic line. The play was originally written to be kind of a walkthrough experience, where you could kind of a socially distanced walkthrough experience. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, as playwrights, we were all just kind of responding to that and trying to figure out how we could still do live theater. Originally, we thought we might be able to do a socially distanced production, and we still might be able to in the future when the virus gets more under control. In the meantime, this is a live stream production. Basically, the camera stands in for the viewer and walks through the piece. So you meet different members of the main character's family, and so it's a very intimate kind of voyeuristic piece. What we were trying to do was recreate the intimacy and the immediacy of live theater through a live stream camera.
The second piece we're going to be presenting today is Mary's Little Monster. Mary's Little Monster takes place in the Swiss Alps, where Lord Byron and Mary Shelley and Percy Bysshe Shelley and John Polidori hauled up during the year without summer. This is another play which is very relevant to our times after we've all been locked down for the last 8 months. Back in those days, they were locked down in the Swiss Alps, and a bet was taking place in which who could come up with the best horror story, and we ended up with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This play is perfect for small, intimate venues. We recently performed this at Torn Page, which is the historic home of Rip Torn and Geraldine Page right here in New York City, which is a beautiful old townhouse in the Chelsea area. In the past, Spit&vigor has toured Mary's Little Monster across the country. We've done a run down to New Orleans, as well as another downtown theatre here in New York City. It's a great piece for small, intimate, in the round settings where the audience is in the space where the action is taking place.
The Brutes takes place in the year 1864, 6 months before the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, when the famous Booth family, consisting of Edwin, Junius Jr., and John Wilkes Booth, all performed for the one and only time that they ever performed professionally together in a performance of Julius Caesar to raise benefits for the statue of Shakespeare in Central Park. In an ironic twist, John Wilkes Booth played the role of Mark Antony.
Mr. John Wilkes Booth as Mark Antony.
The play consists of the action unfolding around the rehearsal period of the play, the production of the play, and then its aftermath. The Brutes is one of our larger productions. It consists of about 12 cast members and at least 2 to 3 crew on top of that. We have performed it in variable spaces, theaters downtown. We also performed at the Players Club, historically the home of Edwin Booth himself. It is intimate, but it can expand to larger theater spaces, anywhere between 50 to 150 to 200 seat houses.
So, if you're interested in booking any of Spit&vigor's productions, we would love to hear from you. Our contact information is on our booth page, and our pricing information will be there as well. So we hope to hear from you, and we hope to see you soon in person once that's safe and possible. Thanks so much for watching.
Praise
and your daughter.